Tonight in part 2 of Ralph Story's series on the secrets of Beverly Hills, he tells of the city's attempt to be a small town since it has all the characteristics called for in an old nursery rhyme.
Everyone knows that Beverly Hills is glamour, it's movie stars, it's prestige.
It's the car you drive and how much your house is worth.
We've got chaos here.
It can't be for the idle rich.
Stand back and say, hey, this is kind of like a joke.
This is a very rich, a very snobbish, a very high-priced little area.
Jim Rogers is Will Rogers' son. Grew up in Beverly Hills, but couldn't afford to live there and became a rancher in Bakersfield. We met in Will Rogers Memorial Park across from the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Do you like what's happened to your old hometown?
Not particularly. I would like to have seen it stay like it always was, but then who can have that?
Yeah, nothing does.
Well, I'm small town at heart. I don't like it as for myself.
It's the small town community.
It's a wonderful town. It's a nice little town.
Beverly Hills is trying desperately to stay a small town, and in many ways it is. As the old nursery rhyme goes, it has a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, a doctor, a lawyer, and even an Indian chief. The townspeople gulp and gossip at the corner coffee shop, or kibitz and nosh at the local deli. So, of course, there's a temple with a rabbi and several churches like the Episcopalian with a reverend. There's even an old-fashioned grocery that makes deliveries and a newfangled supermarket that doesn't. Wonderful little flower shop. And finally, you might say, a mortuary, which is in the export business. You see, there's no hospital and no cemetery in Beverly Hills. You're not supposed to be born or die there.
I guess you can be born and die rather comfortably in Beverly Hills.
It's the living that's important.
It is a place where people live and enjoy living.
How do you preach to a congregation then that's already wealthy?
Well, I think you preach to them of how they use their wealth. If they use their wealth for their self-aggrandizement and for just simply hedonistic pleasures, that's not right. If they can share their wealth with those less fortunate, then I think that's the message we can give them.
Dr. Meyer Heller is concerned about the quality of life in Beverly Hills, and as rabbi, he speaks for the majority. The Protestants, on the other hand, are the minority, but the concerns are the same for Episcopalian minister Clark Oler.
It doesn't really make any difference whether they've got money or not. The ability to deal with tragedy in their own lives, with a sense of meaninglessness in their life, with fear, anxiety, grief, divorce, are just as painful for people with money as it is for people without money.
Glenn Campbell's birthday party 2 weeks ago we did for Tanya Tucker. It was fun. I got to sit next to Jane Fonda. I'm a hayseed.
Harry Finley and his partner Fred Gibbons run Flower Fashions. This is where Tony Orlando ordered 53 live oak trees with yellow ribbons delivered to each of the returned hostages. Actually, it's one of the largest flower shops in the world, thanks to Harry's garden of celebrities.
Cary Grant called me a little while ago, and it just gets my adrenaline going. Katharine Hepburn called.
You see, celebrities don't shop, they phone.
Jurgensen's.
Which explains the success of that old-fashioned grocery. 90% of their business is by phone, but usually it's the cook who calls. And our butcher, Art Bond, is not just chopping liver.
Well, we are selling more caviar now than we used to sell.
In fact, he sells more caviar than anybody anywhere.
They eat well.
And drink well. Perrier, Hawaiian water, pineapple champagne, aloha. Our baker has a lot of dough and makes a lot of bread, 24 hours a day, but not enough to stay in Beverly Hills. The aromatic Wonder Bread factory, hiding behind City Hall, is moving to Chino. The hostess with the mostest can't afford the high cost of living, but no big thing. Of 300 employees, only 6 live in Beverly Hills. But Geary's has been a resident for 50 years, and they're going to stay. In fact, Bruce Myers doesn't agree with the high cost of Beverly Hills.
Oh, you absolutely can get a bargain. Right here you can get a bargain. On candlesticks. Baccarat, Bucciolati.
This was Couch Canyon. Bedford Drive is Couch Canyon.
At one time, the greatest concentration of analysts west of Vienna were in these three buildings. Beverly Hills psychiatrists were so famous, the whole town appeared to need therapy.
I don't think that's it at all. I have been in this work for over 30 years now, and I have approximately 20 patients, and only 2 are from Beverly Hills.
Civic leader and analyst Dr. Art Malin says Beverly Hills is getting so expensive even the psychiatrists are moving away. But there's no shortage of lawyers or lawsuits and divorces.
Amazingly, there's a 50 to 70% divorce rate throughout the country here. Probably about 75 to 80 in Beverly Hills.
So for divorce lawyer Marvin Mitchelson, Beverly Hills is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
I used to live over on Boyle Heights, the other side of town. And of course, the dream was to move to this side of town and sort of enjoy the success ethic.
I enjoy success.
It's successful.
Obviously, I have success that I have you here. Nothing succeeds like success.
Well, that's true, and here's the old original Rodeo Drive, which has been a success from the days when it was a bridle path leading up to the old Beverly Hills Hotel. It got its name from the original Rancho Rodeo de las Aguas, which was in that area. And Maria Valdez bought that ranch for $17.50. Like the man says, nothing succeeds like success.
And it is rodeo.
Rodeo, it is not rodeo.
No, but I mean, why it was rodeo, you're saying because of that origin?
Yes, the bridle path ran from downtown all the way up to the original ranch, which was Rodeo de las Aguas.
That's why we say rodeo.
Seeing the new fashions in Beverly Hills where they all grew up to be cowboys, I think it may change to rodeo.
That's possible.
More urban cowboys there than anywhere else.